Rampocalypse was not a word in my vocabulary until recently. So unfortunately, the memory shortage continues on. So if you've been looking at doing an upgrade, maybe you've given up, but I'm going to show you a solid price to performance platform that avoids DDR5. Welcome to Machines and More. So on this channel, I'll cover a variety of tech topics, particularly PC building related. And today I wanted to talk about bang for buck. If you like getting the most for your money, thumbs up down below, and please make sure that you are subbed because it really helps. Big thanks. So if you want to avoid a DDR5 platform for the time being, I don't blame you. 32 gigs right now, it's running at least 350 US, if not closer to 400 if we're being realistic, right? If we're coming from the perspective that you already have a DDR4 setup and you just want more CPU capability, maybe better gaming FPS, given the times, you want to get the most bang for your buck, right? So this video, I'll tell you why I think the platform I'm about to show you is the best modern ITX gaming platform when considering price that can still run on DDR4. And I will compare against a more costly alternative DDR5 platform just to show you what you actually get for spending more in this context. And in a separate video that I'll link up here, I'll show you the details of doing a platform upgrade while keeping the same case and other components. But in this video, I'll just share the benchmarks to show you how the platform performs. Now, one thing I will note right now, I had meant to do this video with the DDR4 version of this board because it comes in two flavors. It's the same board. Gigabyte sent this one by, and big thanks to them, but likely there was just a clerical oversight since I ended up with the DDR5 version on hand. And that's not going to be a biggie for the results, but this is going to have to be one of those do as I say and not as I do type of moments, right? Get the DDR4 version. When we get to the benchmarks, just keep in mind that I'm using a slower DDR5 kit just to minimize any differences from that. In this context, which is a setup for a mid-range GPU and at 1440p gaming benchmarks, I don't expect much, if any, difference, and certainly nothing that is worth getting a whole new $400 kit for at this point, unless you are going for a high FPS competitive gaming setup and you're pairing with a 4090 or 5080 type of GPU, and that's kind of not what this video is about, right? This is about a setup for most folks. So let's go ahead and start with the CPU. For gaming on DDR4 now, you can absolutely look at 5800X3D or 5700X3D if you're at AM4, but those are end-of-life CPUs, and actually they're very marked up right now. And you may even have to look at the second-hand market. At that point, I feel like it's just too much trouble and a risk for the general user to accomplish. With that in mind, I can recommend the i5, the Intel i5 14600K, which you can still get from your big name retailers. And I've talked about the CPU a lot in the past. Now it seems extra relevant since it can run on both DDR4 and DDR5. And if you already have a DDR4 kit, this will work absolutely fine with it. I've seen this as low as $160 US or so. And a quick search currently nets us a little bit closer to $240. So that's still not too bad. You got 6 performance cores, 8 E-cores. The multi-core performance of this CPU, as you'll see, it's going to be similar to the 9800X3D. So even though it's an older generation CPU, just the raw core count here means it is still quite capable and powerful in that arena. Now, to pair with the CPU, you do have a few choices for motherboards. A while back, I showed an LGA 1700 build with the MSI B760i DDR4, and that would work well if you can find it. This one in particular seems to be a little bit easier to find right now in North America, and this is the Gigabyte B760i board. Like I mentioned, comes in both DDR4 and DDR5 flavors, either coming in for about $200, and that's not terribly cheap for an older generation ITX board, but this will allow you to keep your DDR4 kit, and that's some savings there. Now, in terms of the value analysis, as for the DDR4 kit, if you already have it, that's kind of the idea. But to keep things fair, I did want to still assign a value to it, right? Because this is what you're giving up by using it. And a 32 gig DDR4 kit is going to run somewhere around 150 US right now. And that's going to bring the total for this platform to roughly 590 US. Now, I'll show you this other platform that I have built up in here. This right now is the 440 US for the CPU alone, AMD 9800X3D, which along with the 9850X3D, those are the best gaming CPUs right now. They do require DDR5, but it doesn't necessarily need a fast kit. In fact, you can get good results with even a slower kit. So let's just call it $300 for the slower DDR5 4800 megahertz 32 gig kit. A B850i board will be the minimum that I'd be willing to pair with this CPU. This is the ASUS B850-i. It's $270 now, so that totals $1,010 US, so over $1,000. And I built both of these up in the NR200 paired with a simple tower cooler in the SideMove 6 and the 9070 Prime OC from ASUS. And now I'll see why the 14600K makes a lot of sense in this context. Starting with Cyberpunk, medium settings, the 9800X3D gets about 5 FPS more here, and similar lows. And if we step up to high settings, it's an even smaller 3 FPS difference. For Black Myth Wukong, medium, 5 FPS faster for the 9800X3D. Lows are a lot better, but the 14600K is really not bad. BF6, medium, the 9800X3D is within run-to-run variants, and the lows are lower as well. Finally, I tested Monster Hunter Wilds. This is where the 9800X3D stomped the 14600K. It's got 12 FPS to the good, decent gaps on the lows as well. And this type of poorly optimized title is going to be where the X3Ds tend to do quite well. A title like Far Cry 6 is going to see an advantage for a CPU like the 9800X3D as well. So for gaming, it's no surprise the 14600K is not going to beat the 9800X3D. And even in this context, I think the 9800X3D is clearly generally superior. But is it worth the extra $400 odd? I think that's a very tough argument for it. For other tasks, just to give you a quick data point from Cinebench R23 of the setup, the 14600K is actually a little bit better. And the 9800X3D is going to need a little bit better cooling to squeeze out more performance. The single core scores are slightly better for the X3D though. Either of these will feel pretty snappy for general application loading and Windows performance. I didn't perceive a difference between these. If you're doing 3D rendering, say Blender, the 9800X3D is going to do quite well, and the 14600K is not going to be too far behind. Are there downsides to the B760i platform? Yeah, I think this is pretty much a dead-end socket right now. And I know that you should be building for now and not the unknown. But with this, there's no runway, right? You can only go to a stronger 14th gen Intel CPU, and with AM5, there's bound to be more CPUs coming if we look at AM4 as an example, right? So that's one consideration. So yeah, for the general mid-range gaming user, that's why I think this platform here is the best price to performance. Now, this might not be particularly headline worthy at this point in time, but this is going to give you a lot of bang for the buck. So let me know down below if you have any questions. Links for the builds are also going to be available in the description. Please like and make sure you're subscribed. Big thanks for watching.